reusable bag, but especially if you're using a reusable bag, what you want to do is take your scraper and scrape that right down to the edge. And by the time you're done with that, your bag is virtually clean and you hardly even have to wash it. Especially if you were using it to do buttercream and switching from one color to another or something, you wouldn't have to clean your bag, you would just need to scrape it clean. Alright? I'm going to squeeze out all my excess dough. I'm going to take my little tip out and switch to a bigger tip. Yeah. And then I'm going to put a bigger tip in my bag. So now that I have a bigger tip, I might need to cut a bigger hole. But again, if I was doing this and I was taking the bag to the dish room to be clean, I would scrape every bit out of there, and now you don't have like gooey gunk floating around in your dishwater. Okay. Now remember, you can always scrape up every bit that you don't use. I think I have a chunk out of here from before. And now I'm going to go ahead and slice a slightly larger hole so I can fit that next tip in there. That's why I want to do the small one first. Okay. And once again, we're going to fill it up. And again, don't fill it too far, because the farther you fill it up, the harder it is to squeeze. The more you can fit your hand around your cream of what kind it is, the easier it is to get a squeeze. Remember, squeeze, stop, pick up. Squeeze, stop, pick up. That's always the technique in working with a bag, because you want to stop before you pick up, or else you're just going to get a tail as you're picking up. So the next one I'm going to do is on a full sheet pan. And again, I'm just going to put a little glue down in the corners. And by the time you're done, those little glue patches are just going to cook to a little crispy nub, and you'll just be able to flick it right off the pan. You don't even have to wash it off. So again, I'm going to turn this upside down so I don't get my ink on my product. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some eclairs. An eclair is basically a finger shape. So in order to do that, what I want to do is to start at this line, and you always want to start at the edge of the pan. Because if I start this way, when I come across, I'm going to hit the edge of the pan, it's going to be hard. If I start at the edge of the pan, it's easy to work in toward the center of the pan. I want the thickness of this finger to be the same thickness as the tube that I'm using. So I'm just going to start right here. I'm going to go straight across the same thickness that it is, get to the end of the line, tip down, and cut it off. Leave plenty of space because it's going to double up in size. Another one, same size as the tube, get to the end of the line, and just cut it off. Alright? Don't go like this and let it keep coming out and getting fat like that. You want it the same size that the tube. Oh, that one's not going to work. No problem. Alright? Never happened, we start over again. And we're just going to do a bunch of these. Same size as the tip, get to the end, cut it off. And I'm actually just cutting it off right against the pan. Alright, so they have a bunch. If you end up not doing such a good job and some of them end up longer or whatever, no problem. You go back with your scraper, all the same size. Okay? So it's really pretty easy to correct yourself if you're having an issue, but if you just cut them all off on the edges, you'll be fine. So you want to leave plenty of space in between them like that, and you want about at least a dozen of these. Okay? The next thing you're going to want to do is the body for your swans. And to do the body for your swan, what you're going to want to do is make sort of a double blob. And the way we're going to do that is to go like this and make a big blob and cut it off. And then make another blob right behind it and cut it off. A big blob, cut it off. Start right inside that blob, another big blob, and cut it off. So we have two big blobs together like that. All right? Take your time nice and slowly. A big blob. Cut it off, another big blob right inside it. Oop, that one popped. Another big blob, and cut it off. So you want that little tail part because that will be the tail of your swan. Okay? So just like that, and you'll need about a dozen of those. Okay? Remember to leave plenty of space in between because they're going to puff up double in size. All right. I'm going to go back and scrape my bag down one more time. Fill it one more time. And the last shape we're going to need is small puffs. Well, it's not the last shape. The last shape on this paper that we're going to need is small puffs. And to make our small puffs, I'm going to use again the same tip. I'm running a little short, so I'll steal back a couple of these guys. Yep. Don't really need that many. Okay. And for our small puffs, what we're going to do is just make a little kiss. I want to just pop out that little piece on the end. And I'm just going to make a little kiss. So for these guys, what I use is just the bottom of my large tip to make little circles, because that's the size I want my little cream puffs to be. And I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to hold my bag about a ½ inch above the paper, not all the way down here. So I don't want it to come out flat like that. I want to hold my bag all the way up here, punch out a nice big fat ball the size of that dot, and then just pick up. Start all the way up here, punch out a nice big ball the size of that dot, and pick up. All right? And pick up. Remember to stop squeezing before you pick up. And then when you're done, you can either take a brush, a wet brush, or even just a wet finger. And just tap those down so they're nice and round. And you can do the same thing with just a wet finger. All right? So you have a nice round ball. No flat ones like this. You want a nice round ball so it puffs up into a nice puff. Okay? So just do a kiss, and then when you're done, just flatten them all out. They should be just about the size of the little rings that you made. So the one full shape pan